Hey, welcome back, proletariat. Let's continue with Chapter 2 of Stalin. Flip to page 32. For decades after, the leadership continued to tinker, more or less, permanently with the agricultural system. Lysenko was given a long try, and so were many other schemes, especially under Khrushchev. The Soviet Union had more tractors and combines, harvesters than the United States and Europe combined, but it continued to depend on grain imports from abroad. Having been taught that everything in old rural Russia had been backward, poor, and obscurist, a new generation of Russians began to idolize the old Russian village. The slogan of the idiocy of rural life was replaced by references to the idiocy of big city life. Seen in historical perspective, the only defense that can be made for the 1929 to 1932 revolution from above is that, with all its tragic consequences, it was an historical necessity. The Soviet Union had to engage in rapid industrialization to strengthen the communist regime, to increase the standard of living of the country as a whole, and to create a massive, heavy industry basis to enable the country to defend itself in an impending war. Hence, the need for coercion. The resources for industrialization could only be squeezed out of agriculture. Moreover, what alternative had the authorities once the peasants had decided in 1928 to 1929 to withdraw from the market? But there was no permanent withdrawal of the peasantry, only temporary difficulties caused by 2 consecutive bad harvests and an ill-advised price policy. There were various ways and means of coping with the grain crisis, but politically they were not acceptable to the majority of the party leadership, which would have interpreted it as a surrender to the non-socialized sector. To this day, the debate continues whether squeezing the agriculture contributed to industrial expansion, whether it made no difference at all, or whether it actually had a negative impact. Having destroyed the traditional village and established collective farms, the authorities had to equip them with tractors and other machinery. In the words of one historian, agriculture was a net recipient of real resources in the first 5-year plan from 1929 to 32. Far from being a net flow of resources out of agriculture into the industrial sector, there was a reverse flow of some consequence when measured in 1928 prices. It could be argued that the peasants who escaped to the cities and who were deported to Siberia and other distant parts provided a reservoir of cheap labor for some of the giant projects of industrial construction. In the end, the debate boils down to whether Stalin and the majority of the party leadership, regarding the market as the main enemy of socialist planning, were psychologically and politically in position to accept any solution other than the military feudal exploitation of the peasantry. Bukharin's exact words in 1928. And this was clearly not the case.